Are you someone who would like to become wealthy, but you just don't know how to do it? I submit to you that building wealth has less to do with the how of building wealth, and it has more to do with your perception of how wealth is actually created. In today's training, I'm going to be sharing with you the path to prosperity. Come with me here to the board and we're going to dive right on in. Okay, so the question is, how do we get from where you are now, okay, don't know how to do it, from where you actually want to be in your prosperity journey, right? In fact, let's liven this up a little bit. This is where you want to be. This is time freedom and money freedom, right? So how do we go from here to here? Well, the answer is very simple. There is a path that anyone can take, and really, it's just 4 simple steps, okay? So I want to share with you, there's a scripture that I actually keep here on my phone, that it's actually just my placeholder here. And what it says is Ecclesiastes chapter 5, verse 3, it says, "The dream comes through much business," okay? Do you have a dream to do what God is, put in your heart to do? Maybe you have a dream to build orphanages or to leave a legacy for your family. Or maybe you have a dream to finally be financially free or to finally build the wealth and the lifestyle that you and your family deserve, but you just don't know how to get there. Friends, I'm telling you right now, the path to go from where you are to where you want to be, I believe, can be found in the scripture here through business, right? The dream comes through much business. If you got a dream and you want to fulfill it, all you have to do is create some kind of business that can fund the dream. Like, it's literally this simple, right? Come back here with me to the board as we dive into what are these 4 steps that anyone can take in business to go from where you are to where you want to be in your prosperity journey. Let's check it out, okay? So these 4 levels here, guys, I'm going to break this down into 4 different levels. This one here, okay, level 1. This is the wantrepreneur, okay? You ever heard the word or the phrase entrepreneur? Well, the first step that you've got to take is the wantrepreneur step, okay? And this is a step that's going to take you from $0, and this is a step that anyone can take to get to their first 100K in business, okay? So I'm telling you right now, anyone can do what I'm about to break down in this first step, but it really comes down to, like I said earlier, you've got to begin to change your perception of how is wealth actually created, okay? A lot of people think that wealth is created by going to a job, right? Trading their time for dollars. Like, man, if I just work harder, I can, make more money if I just pick up a couple extra hours on overtime, right? And there's nothing wrong with any of that, but I'm telling you right now, the slow way, and I'm talking very, very slow way to build wealth, is trading your time for dollars, right? But if you start tapping into these steps here, and even though it's at the beginning, it's the wantrepreneur, right? Who's like, I want to be an entrepreneur. If you can master these 3 simple action steps on the first stone of the path to success, you're going to be well on your way to really starting to create wealth, okay? So come with me and let's check it out. Okay, on this level, on this stone, this is the first step everyone's got to take. There are 3 things. Number 1, you've got to have an offer, okay? So what is an offer? An offer is a product or a service that solves a problem for your market, for your audience, right? So the best thing that I like to say to my students is the quickest way to choose your niche, or to pick your niche, or to find the market that you want to serve, is to simply talk to the people who you were just 5 years ago, right? Whoever you were like 5 years ago, 3 years ago, 10 years ago, whoever you were at that time, struggling to finally learn what you do know now, all you have to do is start talking to those people. You went through the journey, you know the language, you know the struggles, you know exactly what's needed to get them from where they are then and where they are now in that part of their journey to where you could be, where they could be now, right? So you've got to pick your market, pick your niche, and come up with some kind of opportunity, again, a product or a service that can solve their problems. And I want to submit to you, don't just solve their problems, solve their problems quickly. If you can solve their problems quickly in your product or service, that's called your offer, okay? Then something tremendous is going to happen. You're going to start making money, okay? This is the first step everyone needs to take when it comes to, I want to build wealth, okay? You're going to get there very, very slowly at a job. You can get there much, much quicker by bringing on some of these business principles into your internal beliefs, okay? So that's the first thing on the first step, is you have to have an offer, a product or service that solves people's problems. What's step number 2 in this part, okay? Second thing you have to have in this phase, you have got to learn marketing, okay? Here's the thing, your offer, your product or service could be the most incredible product or service that solves people's problems the best that they've ever had that problem solved ever. But if no one knows that that product or service, that offer exists, then my friend, they will not be paying you anytime soon. Okay? So what you need to do is you need to begin to discover ways on how you can start telling your market, telling your audience about the good thing that God has put on the inside of you, and how that good thing can solve their problems, right? Like, for instance, the iPhone, okay? All of us had problems that we didn't even know existed of, man, if we could just get all the technology in one place, it would be so incredible. Because again, it's not just solving their problems, it's solving their problems quickly, right? And if we could quickly just have some kind of device that we could fax people, page people, call people, put our calendars in, like all the stuff that we used to do. What if we had it all in the same place and we could do it all in the blink of an eye? And guess what? Somebody came and solved that problem. And now all of us, whether you have an iPhone or not, you probably have a smartphone, all of us have paid to get that problem solved, right? But if none of us knew about, in this case, the iPhone, okay, how awesome it is and how much efficiency it could bring to our life, then we are going to like be still in the dark. Like, man, I wish there was a way that I could, do all of this stuff in the same place. The same thing goes for your offer, your product, your service. You've got to tell people about the good thing that God has put in you to help them with their problem, to help guide them in their journey, to bring quicker results so they don't have to go through all the pain that you went through. Okay, a lot of people, they for whatever reason, they get a little bit scared, they get a little bit shy or sheepish, like, well, I don't want to tell anybody about it. Like I'm whatever, maybe you're in health and fitness, or maybe you are in finance, maybe you are in the car industry, maybe you are a DIY Mega Man or whatever it is, right? Like whatever your thing is, like, well, I've done it for 20 years, or I'm really good at it, or I'm really passionate, but I don't want to tell anybody. Like, of course, no one's going to pay you if you don't tell them exactly how you can help their problem. So you've got to start getting the word out, or marketing to your people. And then the last part of this stone in the path to success, you've got to learn sales, okay? Like, here's the thing. You could have the best product or service, the best offer, right? You can tell everybody about it, get everybody around, like, hey, if you guys have this problem, I can solve it by XYZ, right? I have this thing, I have this product, I have this service. Come on, guys, come over here, I can help you. And everyone gathers around, okay? But then if you don't know how to sell the thing to them, you're not going to get paid. Right? So you've got to really get these 3 things on this stone in the path to success. You've got to get these 3 things going, because when you do, okay, when you can have a killer offer, okay, when you know how to tell people about the good thing that you can solve their problem with, and when you learn how to sell to them, guess what's going to happen? My friend, this is the fastest, most easiest way to get from 0 to 100K in your business. Now, I'm telling you right now, okay? I have students right now in some of my programs who didn't know anything about marketing, didn't know anything about sales, didn't know anything about putting together an offer, and literally now are making tens of thousands, even hundreds of thousands of dollars. And before this, all they ever did was work at the job, man. All they ever did was trade their time for dollars. But I showed them, here's how to put together the offer, here's how to market, here's how to sell. And literally, single mothers are doing this now. We have farmers doing this. We have ministers are doing this. We have men and women from all walks of life serving all kinds of different markets who are getting their minds blown because they're like, wait a second, I literally am making tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars. And friends, I'm telling you right now, if you can just get these three things together, you are going to go from 0 to 100K like this. I've seen it in my own life back in the day when I was starting business. I've seen it in my students' lives. If it happened for me, if it happened for them, it can absolutely happen for you as well. And this is what every aspiring entrepreneur, I call them wantrepreneurs, right? Someone who's like, man, I would love to start a business. I would love to start a side hustle. I would love to get that extra stream of income. This is what you need to do on this stone in the path to success, okay? You want to go from 0 to 100K as fast as humanly possible? Well, way faster than trading your time for dollars at your job. If you put together some kind of product or service that solves a problem, gather people, tell them about the good thing, and then sell the good thing to them, you're going to get there extremely fast, okay? Let's go on to the second stone in the path to prosperity. So this next stone, okay, and the path to prosperity. So now we talked about the wantrepreneurs, okay? Now let's say you've got your offer, you got your marketing, you got your sales. Okay, so what's next? Congratulations, you have just become a solopreneur, right? A solopreneur is somebody who's starting to make some sales. They're starting to get awareness with their business, right? They're really starting to understand, wow, I would love to have, in my case, what I teach my students how to do is to create digital products. Man, my digital products are out there like selling even whenever I'm asleep, and I'm making money even while I sleep. I don't have to trade my time for my dollar anymore. I'm making 6 figures now, multiple 6 figures. This is awesome. But at the solopreneur part in the path to prosperity, chances are, you're still kind of wearing a lot of the hats. You're doing the putting together the offer. You are creating the digital products. You are marketing. You are selling, right? You are doing spreadsheets and customer service and stuff. And that's okay. All of us need to start there. But here's the cool part. In this next stone in the path, okay? Now is when you can level up. Watch this, okay? As a solopreneur, this is where you can go from 100K. Oops, let me do that over. This is where you can go from 100K in your business to $1 million, okay? This is where you can go from 6-figure into 7-figure, okay? This is where you go from like, I'm wearing all the hats, I'm doing all the stuff, I'm hustling. I'm making some decent money, but man, it's starting to kind of wear me out because stuff is growing so quickly, right? What you want to do is you want to do these next steps on this stone in the path to success. Let's check it out. Okay, so how are we going to go from 100K to $1 million? Okay, I call this the focus on the 1, 1, 1. What is the 1, 1, 1? Okay, the 1, 1, 1 is one offer to one market and one sales process. Okay? So a lot of times when people are leveling up in business and they're ready to scale from 6 figures to 7, they think, oh man, maybe I should just create a new product. Maybe I should do something new. Maybe I should start a new business. This is the problem that I had when I was first starting out in business. I would hear like, millionaires have 7 streams of income. So my thought process was, well, man, I got to probably start 7 businesses, right? So I would go start a new business and I'd start this other business. And I was sitting there scratching my head like, okay, I have whatever at the time, like 3 or 4 businesses and they're all doing kind of okay, but none of them are really taking off. I wonder why. It's because I didn't focus on the 1, 1, 1. I didn't just focus on, okay, now that I have a proven offer, right? And my marketing is proven and my sales process is proven. Now all I got to do is I have to take that one thing and I have to just push the gas on it. What got me to 6 figures, if I want to get to 7, now what I need to do is I really need to streamline and really start leveraging my time. So I'm not wearing all the hats, like I'm the salesperson, I'm the customer service, I'm the marketing, I'm the only guy, I'm the only gal in my business. Now what you can do is take a little bit of the profits that you're starting to make from the wantrepreneur stone of the path of prosperity and say, okay, I'm going to take this some of the profits and I'm going to hire somebody who can take all the customer service off my plate, guys. And then I'm going to hire somebody who can maybe do my social media, right? And take that off my plate. So now guess what happens? You start getting your time back. You start leveraging your time by growing your team. And now you can continue to focus on one offer, right? One product or service, one market, and one process. And now instead of you going, man, this is too much, I'm like really killing myself, sending emails and doing all this stuff, leverage your time and say, okay, this works. We have a proven strategy. Now what we're gonna do, guys, is we're gonna push the gas on this and we are going to scale. And instead of me trying to put in like an hour over here with customer service, maybe in the morning, and then an hour of customer service in the evening, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put you in charge of all the customer service 24 hours a day or 8 hours a day, right? Whatever it is. And then you over here, let's take my example earlier, social media. Instead of me having to like do all the social media all the time and talk to people and, you know, make new connections, and I'm trying to put an hour here, an hour there. Now your full-time job is going to be, you're the social media person, right? You're gonna put 8 hours or more into social media. So now you got your time back. So guess what you can do? Now you can start pushing. Now you can start leveraging. Now you can focus on, okay, it's a proven system. It's a proven offer. It's a proven process. Let me just leverage by building the team slowly to start pushing the gas. So instead of me getting worn out, right? Because every single one of us only have 24 hours in a day. And if you're doing all the sales, all the marketing, all the customer service, all the social media, every single thing yourself, right? You've got to leverage so that way you can start scaling. And guys, I'm telling you right now, when you begin to focus on the 1-1-1, you will literally go from 6 figures to 7 quicker than you could ever imagine. I'm telling you, like I said at the beginning of today's training, building wealth has less to do with how do I actually build wealth, and it has more to do with your perception of how wealth is created, okay? One of the best ways to create wealth is to obviously have a business, like I said, but number 2 is to begin to leverage your time by starting to focus on the 1-1-1, getting your team out there and starting to crush it. This way, you can get all of your capacity. I think that's the best word. You can get all your capacity back to do the thing that you have superpowers to do. Maybe your superpower is to actually do the training. Maybe your superpower is to do the marketing. Maybe your superpower is to run the social media. Whatever it is, if you are beginning to leverage, right, now you can get all your capacity back and push even harder. And then whenever more comes in, you put it on the team and you begin to scale, okay? Let's go to the 3rd stone in the path to prosperity. Hey, I really hope that you're enjoying the video. I want to invite you guys. I have recently created a free training teaching people how to make money online. My students are literally making anywhere from $5,000 to $10,000 a month, and some of them even make hundreds of thousands of dollars, not in a year, but in a single day. If you want more information on how you can get started, all you need is a phone and a laptop. You can go to digitalproductacademy.org, or you can click the link below in the description. Guys, after you watch the free training, if it sounds like it might be something cool for you to check out, you can book a free call with one of my client success coaches, and they'll be able to help you more. Now, back to the video. All right, congratulations. So now you have done 7 figures in your business. Woohoo! Now you're not just a wantrepreneur, you're not just a solopreneur. Now you're a true-blooded entrepreneur. You left your job a long time ago, right? And now you are working on getting from 7 figures to 8 figures. Now you want to learn how to go from $1 million to 10 million, okay? Now, here's the thing. What I always tell my students is this, okay? At this level, whenever you're like, you've got some wherewithal, the volume is starting to grow, your skills are growing, right? You're not just like scared of trying to sell something. You're not just trying to figure out how to get attention to your product, your service, your offer. Now you really got some experience under your belt. And honestly, if you follow this path, many people, even my students, they get to this level literally within 1 to 2 years if you just stick with what I'm laying out for you. Okay? Building wealth, I'm telling you, building wealth is simple. Have you ever heard the phrase like, you got to work hard for your money? My question to you is like, do you? Like, I'm a firm believer. I don't want to work hard for my money. I want my money to work hard for me. And the way that I'm going to do that is I'm actually going to work smart for my money. And that's what the third stone in the path to prosperity is all about on the entrepreneur level. Okay, let's break it down here on the board. So if you want to scale up from 7 to 8 figures, there are 3 things you have to focus on, okay? You've got to focus on systems. You have to focus on software. And you really want to start focusing on growing your staff, okay? See, many business owners who want to achieve their dream, their God-given dream, God, you put this thing in my heart, I want to do it. Number 1, many people are not even willing to start business. But number 2, those guys and gals who are doing business, and maybe you've come along the first few steps in the path to prosperity, a lot of people have a hard time scaling up to the next level, going from $1 million to 10 million. Okay, why do they do this? Because too many entrepreneurs still want to, remember we talked about on the first couple of steps, you're wearing a lot of the hats, right? You are the marketing, you are the PR, you are social media, you are customer service. And even though you're scaling up to the solopreneur level and you're like, okay, we're doing 6 figures, multiple 6 figures, many entrepreneurs get stuck at this place. They never crack, over $1 million because they don't want to give up control to their staff member, or they don't want to rely on a software, right? Or they don't want to put certain systems in place. Guys, I'll be honest with you. This was me just 6 years ago. When I was starting out in business, I got to the solopreneur level pretty quickly. We got to multiple 6 figures very quickly because I had an offer, I was marketing, I was selling, right? And then I focused on the 1-1-1 and we were starting to grow. But because at the time I didn't have a business coach, I didn't have a business mentor, no one was showing me how to scale, I was stuck. And I was like, man, how do I get to the next level? And it wasn't until I hired a business coach, a business mentor, and the first thing they told me was like, look, you are doing way too much. You are still working in the business and you're not working on the business. And I was like, so how do I get out from working in the business? And they said, you need systems, you need softwares, and you need to grow your staff. Now, I'll be honest with you, if I can be vulnerable with you, right? Every single one of us who are starting to build and starting to grow, we're on our way to scaling. There's a certain point where we have got to be willing to kind of give up control and grow ourselves in the place of leadership by saying, okay, I'm going to put a lot of these things that I feel like really rely on me. I'm going to put them on my people. I'm going to put them on my softwares. I'm going to put them on my systems. I always tell my students this, when it comes to leadership, and in our case today, in the context of growing your business, scaling to $1 million plus, and finally getting to the place of prosperity by walking down this path I'm laying out for you today. I always tell my students this, good leaders are always willing to go slower in the beginning so that they can go faster in the end. What does that mean? When you get to this place in your business, when you get to this place in the path to prosperity, you are going to have to be willing to give certain responsibilities over. And here's the punchline. Yes, you can do it at 100%, but what if you were to give the 100% load to 2 people who both could do 75% as good as you? Well, okay, this guy, he's only doing 75% as good as you, or this gal's only doing 75% as good as you, but combined together, now you are actually leveraging at a much higher level, because not only is it 100%, but now they're giving, 150%. 50%. Now you're getting 150% by being willing to go slower by, okay, he's not going to do it perfect, she's not going to do it perfect, but they're both going to do it good enough. And with the good enough, I'm going to be willing to go slower in the beginning by training them, equipping them, helping them as they're growing, right? And spending time getting them ready, right? And if I can go slower by releasing this responsibility to my team, or entrusting, like, man, I really love to personally write all the emails. Well, what if you could entrust that to a software, right? Like, what if you could entrust that to a system? Like, man, I always do it this way. And somebody comes in and goes, well, hey, if we did it this way, the system's maybe a little different than what you're used to, but the system will do X, Y, Z, and now you get all your time back, right? So for me, 6 years ago, when we were starting to hit this place, I was like, I can bring on a staff person, I can bring on a social media person. We were starting to make a little bit of money, but how in the world? And it wasn't until I understood, if you're willing to go slower in the beginning with systems, learning softwares, and hiring more and correct staff to train them, to release it, to figure the thing out, if you're willing to go slower in the beginning in that part of the process, it will actually enable you to be able to go faster in the end. Meaning, because you've leveraged your responsibilities to staff, systems, and software, now you get your time back. And again, the same thing that you did to leverage up to this point, right? To grow to this point, because you have your superpower and you can focus on your superpower, now you can do it again, but at a much larger scale. Friends, I'm telling you right now, very, very few people make it to the entrepreneur level, but you can if you begin to implement systems, softwares, and staff. Let's come to the board and look at this next step in the path to prosperity. Okay, so now you are rocking and rolling. You are cranking. You're a millionaire now. Mom, look, I can't believe we actually did it. Okay, our business makes millions of dollars every year, and now it's time to go to the next level. Okay, so it's no longer entrepreneur, it's no longer solopreneur, and now you're not just an entrepreneur. Now you're becoming a wealthpreneur. Okay, so in the wealthpreneur step, this is where you can go from 10 million. Where you can go from 10 million to hundreds of millions and beyond. Those are plus signs, okay? So how in the world, now look at this, let's recap here, okay? I'm gonna turn my laser on here. Let's recap what we've been talking about, okay? I'm telling you right now, this whole idea, like, man, building wealth, it's super hard. Friends, I'm literally laying out the path to prosperity for you. Okay, you might be here right now, just, man, I don't know how to get there. Here's how you get there. Step number one, you put together your offer, you get good at marketing, and you start selling to people. This will get you from 0 to 100K. Step number two, you're gonna focus on the 1-1-1, one offer to one market with one process, okay? This is gonna get you from 100K to $1 million in your business, and you're gonna go from entrepreneur to solopreneur, and now to entrepreneur, where you focus on systems, softwares, and growing your staff. This is where you can really start scaling up, and you can go from 7 figures to 8 figures in your business. Well, now here we are at the wealthpreneur level, and I don't know if you guys notice this or not, but look at the smile on his face, man. Why is he so happy? Because he's finally made it to the place of prosperity. So here's the thing, guys. In the Bible, Deuteronomy chapter 32, okay, there's a scripture, and it uses war language, which is fine, but the principle itself applies to any context that you plug it into. And the Bible says this, Deuteronomy 32:30, it says, 1 can send 1,000 to flight, but 2 can send 10,000 to flight, okay? So check this out. Let's come back here to the board. How in the world do you become a wealthpreneur? We just recapped all this stuff, okay? You've got all of this stuff in place. You've scaled. You've become a millionaire at this point. You've got your systems and softwares. So how do we take it to a whole different level? How do we leverage? How do we scale up? I'll tell you right now. And actually, I would put strategic partnerships, okay? With this being said, let me ask you another question here on the next page, okay? Would you rather have, this right here is a grape. Would you rather have a whole grape, or would you rather have, let's see if I can do this here. Would you rather have half of a watermelon? Okay, so this is a watermelon. Here's some seeds, okay? Again, I'm going to ask you the question. Would you rather have a whole grape or half of a watermelon, okay? Why am I asking this question? Because here's what most entrepreneurs do, okay? Most entrepreneurs, especially whenever they scale up and they start making millions, but they just can't break past that 8 figures, a lot of times entrepreneurs, they don't want to form strategic partnerships. But do you remember what Deuteronomy says? 1 sends 1,000 to flight, 2 sends 10,000 to flight. Okay, so what is the math on partnership? I'm glad you asked. Let's check it out. Okay, so what's the math on partnership? Okay, so if I can send 1,000 a flight, okay, but 2 can send 10,000 to flight, guess what that means? Just by having the synergy of a strategic partnership, by myself, I would have only been able to do 1,000. But with the strategic partnership, we both can do 5,000, right? 1 sends 1,000, 2 sends 10,000. So literally, if I'm trying to do it on my own, I'm only at 1,000. But if I have a partner, so we both 5x our individual potential. That's why I'm asking you, would you rather have a whole grape, because the whole grape, by the way, is this, or would you rather have half of a watermelon, which is this? So when it comes to the path of prosperity, okay, when it comes to building wealth, how do we go from here to here? My friend, I'm telling you right now, like I said at the beginning of the video, when it comes to building wealth, the process is actually much more simple than you actually realize. It actually comes down to your perception of how wealth is built. And I'm telling you right now, if you begin to take a walk on these stones, on the path to prosperity, you are going to go from where you are now to where you want to be. Friends, this is the painless path to prosperity. I'll see you in the next video.